on that and understood its usefulness and how it could benefit the doctor as well as the patient, and made use of it.
A pioneer in many circles, regardless of how you look at it, for sure, Sam. 1932, Reverend Houston R. Moreland of Detroit is going to begin an evangelistic meeting at the Courthouse in Glasgow next Sunday night at 7:30. Music will be a special feature with Mrs. Moreland at the piano and her sister, Miss Day, at the saxophone, preaching each evening until further notice. Now, there's some interesting things in that story. Very few times in the archives have we ever had revivals at the courthouse, but we have a couple of times, sir. And this fellow coming in here from Detroit was going to be here until he gets tired of being here. That's how long the revival will last. How about that for a little different spin on things?
That is interesting. Our courthouse was a community gathering place for all sorts of things going on. Not only were there some revivals held in the building, there were services held outside the building from time to time. And even the Seventh-day Adventist had a use of that building every week for many years.
It is.
So it's a multi-purpose facility for certain.
A piece of history for sure. 1942, this was the day that the Golden Rule Sunday School class of the First Christian Church announced they were going to enjoy a picnic on Monday evening at 6 o'clock in the garden of Mr. and Ms. Reuben Garnett on North Ray Street. Every member is cordially invited to attend, and Miss Bess Howard is the teacher of that class. So what we have here is some folks from the Christian Church saying we're going to have a picnic out here at Reuben Garnett's place and take the Sunday school class out there. And I know that was a beautiful location to have that picnic, and Miss Bess says, let's just take the class on the road, 1942.
Miss Bess's Sunday school class was sort of legendary throughout Glasgow. We might think of a Sunday school class maybe having 20 or 30 people. Miss Bess's class used a whole auditorium, and people were very attracted to her class and her style of teaching and her knowledge of the Bible, and they were active in a lot of different things in the community outside of the church.
And so I'm sure they had a great crowd over at the Garnetts for that picnic too, don't you think?
Without a doubt.
1952, we've got some political news here, Sam. The Glasgow Times reported that Barron County had delegates for both national conventions. The story is that Glasgow furnished a delegate from the 4th Congressional District to both the Republican and the Democratic National Convention in Chicago this year. Dr. Paul S. York was a delegate to the Republican gathering, while Mrs. Nell Vaughn was a delegate to the Democratic Party convention. Also, Dr. York was a Taft delegate, and when he was preparing to leave for Chicago, his young son presented him with a sign that said, "I like Ike," a sign that he had prepared himself. In telling of it after his return from Chicago, Dr. York remarked that it appeared the only brain in the family was that of his very young son. And, of course, you're talking about young Dr. Paul York there from 1952. That's a pretty big story, isn't it?
Well, I believe that actually was younger Dr. York's younger brother, Sam York.
Okay, all right.
Poster maker.
Okay, all right. So he was the guy that made the poster, in other words.
I believe that's correct.
Well, I stand corrected. And also, in this same convention story, William W. Billy Vaughn, an aide to Vice President Barkley, has returned to his duties in Washington following the National Democratic Convention in Chicago, but he stopped in Glasgow for a visit with his parents and his friends. You know, he's much mentioned in the archives when it comes to political prowess and things of that nature of Billy Vaughn and all the work that he did with Vice President Barkley, Sam. So we had a lot of conventioneering going on back here in 1952.
We certainly did, and really a feather in Glasgow's cap that we had 2 Barron County residents as delegates to those political conventions.
Right.
That doesn't happen in small towns every time.
Certainly you can tell how much we apparently we were on top of things politically back in the day, regardless of your party affiliation. 1962, the Glasgow Times reported about Mr. Alan Bryant Brown, a member of the Highsville Young Farmers Association, who has been named reporter of the Kentucky Young Farmers Association. Brown was elected at the recent YFA convention. He's a graduate of Highsville High School, graduate of Highsville High School. And he farms near Griderville. And I knew Mr. A.B. Brown and Mr. A.B. Brown, and he was a excellent farmer and just a good guy to know. And I know he was very active in the Masons, and he was a good farmer, and glad he got this award, Sam.
And without a doubt, he did a great job with that position.
1972, some news from the commerce section. There's a big sale going on at Watson's, a white sale. You can get 3 beautiful spreads to brighten your bedroom, $9.77 or $7.77. How about buying some foam pillows, 2 for $5, and a 2-piece bath set for $3.99? Boy, those are some low prices, aren't they?
They certainly were.
That's at Watson's in the Central Center Shopping Center. They have 3 spreads that are priced from $9.77 to $7.77 out at Watson's. But a pioneering store in shopping center shopping around here out at Watson's. Let's see, 1982 in the archives, we had some films showing out at the Cinemas 1 and 2. Rocky 3 was showing out there, and Tron. Remember Tron in 1982? Or you should go out to the Star Drive-In and watch Right Track and Kenny Rogers in 6-pack. So the big screens were being lit up around here with some A1 films back in 1982. 1992, this was the day that Barron County baseball standout John Cox signed to play his college baseball at Campbellsville. He's the son of Louise and Don Cox, and it's just good to see these youngsters get to go on and further their education by committing to play at the next level. Always a proud day. 2002, this was the day that the old Liberty Street Music Hall was announced is going to house the Glasgow Recreation Department as a part of the Renaissance program. Now, that was and I know you were involved in some of that, Sam, and I know that folks were really tickled to know that this music hall up there was built in between the high school and the elementary school back in the day, was able to be used and continues to be used by the Glasgow Recreation Department as a part of the Renaissance program.
It was that was a great idea, and it's worked out very well. Many of us grew up with the Glasgow Recreation Department being up on the square next to Beulah Nunn Park and the old Christian Church Education Building, and, which, of course, was not handicapped accessible or anything of that nature, and had some difficulties for the types of programs needed there. And so moving up to Liberty Street was a great plus for the Glasgow Recreation Department. And Ms. Debbie Bunch, who was the director at that time, rallied all of the employees and a lot of volunteers, and they did all the work on that building themselves. They didn't seek grants to do renovations. They actually got in there and did it. They were so excited to have this new facility to them coming their way.
Well, certainly it was quite the advancement in the facilities that the Recreation Department had worked with, and they were very, very proud in their own right to have that facility up there, and it has worked out very, very well, for sure. 2012, the Barron County Progress reported the ribbon cutting was held for Sidelines Casual Dining. Part owners Greg Scott and Alan Matthews. That's been 10 years ago, as reported in the Progress. And that's where we are in the archives today, Sam. Now, I always have to ask you, did I mess anything up today?
I don't believe so.
I didn't leave anything out. Occasionally I get things out of whack, and it's just good to have a smart guy who keeps me straight and adds so much with the rest of the story on so many of these stories in the archives. It's a fascinating time in our history, for sure, as we go through these changes that we've had over the last century. And I think we'll try to come in here tomorrow and do some more of the same, okay?
Sounds like a great plan. I'll see you then.
Okay, have a good day, sir. Sam Terry, noted historian. He's here with us on behalf of Joseph A. Wade Industrial Hardware Services. You do know the motto that history is made by, the hard work that stands the test of time.
Spring is alive with warm sunshine, birds, and blooms. That means your ride is a wreck. Pollen and doo-doo damage to your paint job, to be exact. Look to Waterworks to protect your ride with affordable options for every budget. Sign up today and save money with Waterworks' monthly unlimited Splash Pass program. Good at all locations in Bowling Green and Glasgow. That's any Splash Pass Unlimited membership, including the $35 Splash Pass level of services with no limits. Unlimited means unlimited. And it all comes with complimentary towels, mat beater, window cleaner, and air purge. And it's not just money savings you get at Waterworks Express Wash in Glasgow. There's loads of perks for being a monthly Waterworks member. Their website or Facebook page has all the details you need. You won't find that level of sparkling clean and incredible perks anywhere else in the area. Spring in for the cleanest ride you can get at the new Waterworks Express Wash, now open in Glasgow at 1009 Happy Valley Road.
Waterworks!
Got to take care of your vehicle when the heat gets so extreme, and we'd like to suggest that you do that at Southern Kentucky Tire Pro at 1004 Happy Valley Road in Glasgow. That's right. Now, Southern Kentucky Tire Pro is family-owned and operated, and they have techs out there that'll work on any car from any year or any job. No job is too small or too large, because the techs out there that they have that are well-trained at Southern Kentucky Tire Pro can do it all. In fact, they like to claim they maximize your love of being behind the wheel when you're driving a well-run and a wonderful vehicle that has like great tires on it, offering the top brand name of tires with local price guarantee out there, and that strong warranty package that we like to brag on, the complimentary roadside assistance that you get. It's kind of like they're going with you just in case you need them. That's what they really feel good about out there. Locally operated, locally family-owned. It's the good folks out at Southern Kentucky Tire Pro. You can go out there this morning and see Foster and say, here's what I need done. And he and his trained professionals will simply do it. You can also call them at 861-2003. That is Southern Kentucky Tire Pros at 1004 Happy Valley Road.
Weather from the WCLU Weather Center. Brought to you by South Central Bank.
When you look around Glasgow and Barron County, you see that South Central Bank's roots run deep, having served generations of families and supported some of the most significant business growth in the region. We are proud to be a part of this community. For 50 years, our customers have received superior service from South Central Bank, and we remain committed to that. We continue to build relationships that are making an impact on the community we call home. South Central Bank, small enough to know you, big enough to help. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, we're under a heat advisory today. You can figure that out. We're at 75 degrees this morning. We have probably started a little slow from the standpoint of hitting the heat because of that little shower we had just before 5 o'clock this morning. We got 0.06 of an inch of rain in our bucket. Some other folks have had more. I've had calls from folks out around Electa, some of those places saying, hey, we got more than that. And when I looked at it on the radar, I'm saying, I believe you did, just by that this thing is still staying together pretty good. Right now, the constant coverage and studio radar screen shows the thunderstorm still together between Greensburg and Campbellsville. So if you're driving in that direction, that's really about the only thing we see cranking up. A few little sprinkles out just east of Columbia, but really not a whole lot of problems after that. Today, sunny and hot and 95 the high, but it'll feel like, when you factor in this humidity, this mugginess, and you know that rain this morning didn't do any cooling anything down. We're certainly very steamy out there for sure. The heat index could be up to 106 degrees. Now, the interesting factor is that we've got wind gusts projected as high as 22 miles an hour. So I don't know what the hot air effect is going to be. but it's not going to be quite like a wind chill factor for sure. For tonight, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low of 72. Sunny on Thursday at 92. Thursday night, clear and 67. And Friday, sunshine and hot and a high of 94 degrees. Still, let's see, winds out of the southwest. We've seen them gust at times to 7 miles an hour. We're not near that 22 yet, but we got a little ways to go. 600ths of an inch of rain. Barometer's down at 29.87. 95% humidity. The dew point is exactly where the air temperature is. You know what that means? When the dew point and the air temperature are the same, that means mugginess is totally maximized. So you'll feel it when you walk outside for sure. This weather update, WCLU, brought to you by your friends at South Central Bank.
Anderson Windows and Doors with Stormwatch protection are designed to meet building codes for coastal locations from Maine to Miami, Gainesville to Galveston, and they're on guard even when no one is home. Anderson Windows and Doors with Stormwatch protection. The uglier the weather gets, the more beautiful they become.
See the full line of Anderson Windows and Doors at Glasgow Building Supply, 31E Bypass in Glasgow. Anderson Windows. Come home to Anderson.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle, a combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more, because a State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just 4 walls and 4 wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Call State Farm agent Mike Bryant in Glasgow at 270-651-3608.
Little Caesars presents delicious duos like bacon and eggs, spaghetti and meatballs, and of course peanut butter and jelly. Now, Little Caesars brings you a large, hot and ready slices and sticks. A delicious duo featuring 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, together with 8 tasty slices of Italian cheese sticks, plus crazy sauce for only $6. Little Caesars hot and ready slices and sticks is just $6. Available every day when you walk in between 4 and 8 at Little Caesars.
Pizza. At participating locations plus tax. Prices may vary.
We're playing for a pizza. That's right, a pizza from Little Caesars Pizza. You provide an answer, and Little Caesars says, here is the pizza for being correct. 651-914-800-956-1023. A simple question today. Tell me, who was the United States' first ever Secretary of War? Yes. Way back when we had the Secretary of War, I want you to tell me who the first Secretary of War happened to be. 651-914-900-956-1023. Trivia.
Cornell Hull.
No, it's not right. First Secretary of War. Trivia.
Henry Knox.
Say it again.
Henry Knox.
That is correct. And who is this speaking?
Jimmy Cochran.
Hey, Jimmy Cochran, how you doing today, sir?
I'm up and running. Walked it off. Doing pretty good.
Well, what do you know about Henry Knox?
I know that I can Google pretty good.
You know what?
I can Google pretty good.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Mr. Knox, or actually he was a General Knox, he goes back to the days of the Continental Congress. He was really involved in the development of coastal fortifications. He worked to improve the preparedness of the local militia. And for all of that, they named a little fort up here in central Kentucky after him. You ever heard of Fort Knox, Jimmy?
I've been to see bridges at Fort Knox.
Well, you know, here's the thing. That fort, which was a camp before that, but nonetheless, it was named in honor of the U.S.'s first ever Secretary of War, which was Henry Knox, General Henry Knox. It's interesting to read about him, Jimmy, and I would encourage you to do so, because he was the Secretary of War when we were having wars with Indian nations. And, you know, he was sitting here trying to figure out how we're going to, you know, stop having these fights and getting along with these other folks who live on this land. And that was a big part of what he had to do. And he got that fort named after him. And so you've got a pizza coming for that, okay, Jimmy?
Sounds like a winner.
Okay.
I have to do some more research on it and
Yeah.
Read up on them. I like history.
Yeah, well, you read about that and see how, as the first Secretary of War, the kind of war business he had to get into there. Hang on, Jimmy. I got to get your address to mail you the coupon, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be right here.
All right. Thanks a lot. Jimmy Cochran. That's right. The first U.S. Secretary of War was Henry Knox. Fort Knox is named in his honor. We'll play tomorrow. Won't you join us?
A message from the South Green Street Church of Christ.
Most of us recognize the power of good habits. Also, we recognize just how difficult it can be to break a bad habit. It takes commitment. It takes work. It takes real effort. So as we consider today what our habits are, I wonder if our habits are similar to those of Jesus. Jesus was in the habit of going to a certain place and regularly praying. He had a habit of prayer, according to Luke 22:39 and 40. Can you say that it's your habit to pray? It's prayer that will help us to prepare for the future, fight temptation, and gives us strength. If you're not in the habit of praying, won't you seek to be more like Jesus Christ? Get into the habit of prayer. This is Bart Warren with the South Green Street Church of Christ, and we invite you to come and pray with us.
South Green Street Church of Christ, 306 South Green Street in Glasgow.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis, or an injury, you already know the traditional treatments, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? Hey, it's Henry Royce with great news from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It is 2022, and those old ways are out, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life that you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation, 270-974-4500. That's 270-974-4500. QC Kinetics, 270-974-4500.
Good morning from Forever Communications, WCLU Glasgow, W276VO Glasgow, WLLI Muffordville, WLYE Glasgow, W253BN Glasgow. Good morning live.
CBS News Brief. Extreme heat warnings expand across the country. New York City Mayor Eric Adams with a warning.
This is serious heat, and we're really concerned about those, particularly with pre-existing respiratory conditions.
The high for Philly today, 97. Brutal heat in Europe is moving east. Republicans joined Democrats in the House to pass a bill that would codify gay marriage into law. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
47 Republicans joined Democrats in supporting the bill, which recognizes the right to same-sex marriage. It follows the Supreme Court's abortion ruling and concerns that other rights, including gay marriage, could be revisited.
A roadblock may await in the Senate. Sure, Netflix lost almost 1 million subscribers in the second quarter, but that's only half the number it expected. CNET's Ian Sure.
This doesn't mean that Netflix is suddenly returning to its rocket-like popularity on Wall Street. Netflix's stock is still down about 66% since the beginning of this year.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
When we lost Frank, we lost a good friend. Father, husband, colleague, and coach. He meant a lot to all of us. Today, we had a chance to tell him that.
When someone close to you passes on, you want to commemorate their life in a special way. That's why individual requests are such an important part of our funeral services. We strive to meet your specific needs for the most fitting service for your loved ones. A.F. Crow & Son Funeral Home, a celebration of love.
Nurse practitioners Paula West and Haley Cavanaugh at the TJ Health Cave City Clinic offer experienced health care for all your family's needs, including family medicine care, pediatric care treating children starting at birth, along with cardiology services. The TJ Health Cave City Clinic across from Save-A-Lot is open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Appointments are recommended. Walk-ins are accepted based on availability. For additional information, visit tjregionalhealth.org/Cave City. TJ Regional Health. Total local care.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. 75 degrees, 7:15 on the dot. Welcome into WCLU Local News. I'm Brennan Crane. Of course, we're working today with extreme heat that's moving really across the entire East Coast today. Looks like temperatures here could feel like 106 degrees by the time we're over with today. Looks like the dry air temperature, however, about 96 degrees. Depending on where you are, of course, that will vary. Magistrates in Barron County approved a motion Tuesday to secure a property for the construction of a new judicial center. A project development board was created nearly 2 years ago after the state legislature earmarked $32 million in the state's budget for the project. The money was designated exclusively for the construction of a new judicial center in Barron County. It will replace the current Barron County Courthouse, though it will be housed in another location. The current courthouse will remain for county use, officials have said. Now, the PDB was developed as a unit of the Barron Fiscal Court, which is the entity responsible for the upkeep and care of the local courthouse. The Kentucky Administrative Office of the Courts, they lease that current courthouse from the Barron Fiscal Court, and it will continue to do so when the new center is built. The court entered a closed session at its Tuesday meeting with all members of the PDB except Joan Norris. She was not there. Magistrates returned from that session and made one motion.
Authorize the use of an eminent domain if necessary to secure property at the location previously identified as Site E. And that's my motion.
That's Magistrate Jeff Botts, who is the representative of District 1 in Barron County. Now, all members of the court agreed to the motion except Tim Coomer, the magistrate representing District 4. There was no further discussion among members of the court. Eminent domain is a power provided to governments by the Fifth Amendment, and it allows them to take private property for public use. The government must ensure the compensation to the owners, however, of the property is just. Now, while no official information is surfaced, speculation among community members and those familiar with the situation has. Among those potential sites, it's the current property where U.S. Bank is housed along South Green Street. Other site speculation surfacing in recent weeks include a section of land along West Main Street and office building along the downtown square and churches near downtown. Members of the PDB previously voted to get an appraisal of Site E. The timeline for that project's completion, it remains there at late 2023 or early 2024. Trigg Corner has a reputation for being a happening spot, and it was Tuesday morning when a local family was presented a check to help them recover from a fire that destroyed their home. Dorothy Wood left her home to take a few neighboring kids to school on the morning of January 19th, and it was moments later she learned her Smiley Court home was ablaze and her husband Dallas was still inside it. She rushed back and hurried to evacuate him. Now, rather than facing tears and worry, the Woods faced hope and peace Tuesday as they were presented a check to help them regain their home. Dallas stood nearby under a shade tree with a portable oxygen concentrator in hand. He says that this means a great deal to his family.
You know, it's given us a chance to start over with all the stuff that we've lost, and it just means a lot to me and my family. It really does.
Now, every dollar donated to the family was gathered through local fundraising events and nonprofit generosity. Bridge, Kentucky, the Boys and Girls Club of Glasgow and Barron County, and members of the First Baptist Church, they were all among those who combined their efforts to raise the $5,000. Wiping her tears away, Dorothy smiled through her trembling voice and explained how the last 6 months have been nothing short of a challenge for her family.
It's been really hard because he's on oxygen, he can't climb up down steps. So that's the reason I wanted to get back home so he could be on level ground.
Now, the Woods found an apartment to rent after the incident, which has sufficed this long, but they echoed each other regarding their desire to be back at home and together again. Barron County Judge Executive Michael Hell, he described the community effort behind this donation. He harped to the mostly young audience about the importance of involvement and the impact of togetherness on a community like ours.
I've seen people over the years lose their home, not have a place to go. It's very devastating to families. And so when Miss Dorothy reached out and had the conversation, I thought, we've got to do something. And with the local resources that we have here locally, there's no reason why we couldn't help.
And extending her gratitude one more time, Miss Dorothy Wood says that she's very, very thankful.
I just want to tell everybody thank you. It's Miss Ola, because I tell myself, I think people love me that much to see this today and all the money that people help me. So I just want to tell everybody thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for helping us get back home.
Kentucky State Police Critical Incident Response Team is investigating a trooper-involved vehicle pursuit, including a fatality, which occurred Monday around 7:30 in the evening in Hardin County. The CIRT responded to the scene, and the investigation into the incident remains ongoing. State Police saying that a preliminary investigation reveals a KSP trooper attempted to conduct a traffic stop on a Kia Soul near the 2-mile marker on the Joe Prather Parkway near I-65. That vehicle then failing to yield and a pursuit initiating. The pursuit continued westbound on the Joe Prather Parkway with speeds reaching 100 miles per hour before turning southbound onto US 31W there in Hardin County. The vehicle made a U-turn, apparently continued northbound onto US 31W before it ran a red light near the intersection of Gateway Crossing Boulevard and US 31. The vehicle struck 3 cars in the intersection, becoming disabled, and it caught fire in the southbound lanes. The subject in that vehicle pronounced dead at the scene by the Hardin County Coroner's Office. Occupants of the other vehicles, they were transported to Baptist Health Hospital. They're facing non-life-threatening injuries, but no law enforcement officers were injured during that incident. And Kentucky State Police, we understand, is still investigating that officer-involved shooting that happened in Barron County nearly 2 weekends ago. That happened, of course, near Cave City, and officers there with the Barron County Sheriff's Office, deputies rather, responded to that scene. A subject apparently, for a welfare check, that subject getting out of the vehicle and traveling away from there into a field, had a handgun and a knife, supposedly, and officers fired on that subject when he apparently began to point that toward them. Again, we've requested information from State Police. State Police gave us a heavily redacted document which pretty much contained nothing about that incident other than a name of an officer who is investigating, that is Trooper Wes Medley with Kentucky State Police, and they refused to hand over any sort of body camera footage or anything like that. But again, we're continuing to follow that case, and we'll let you know more about that once they release more information. Gas prices this week in South Central Kentucky, they're being reported about 20 cents lower this week, and that's at $4.06 per gallon. This week's average price is, of course, going to be a little bit less than last week, which was $4.26. Average price during this week a year ago, $2.86 per gallon. Across the region, looks like Bowling Green's average is about $4.04 per gallon. E-Town, $3.92. Louisville, $4.51. Owensboro, $3.84. And Paducah at $3.98. AAA East Central says that according to new data from the Energy Environment Administration, gas demand dropped from 9.41 million barrels per day to 8.06 million barrels per day last week, while total domestic gas stocks increased by 5.8 million barrels. That decrease in demand and declining oil prices, they've helped push prices at the pump down. 723, 75 degrees. You're listening to WCLU Local News. It's Wednesday, July 20th. We'll be right back.
Picture another world, another dimension, one of space, one of time, one where chicken on made-from-scratch biscuits only costs $1. This place exists, and it's called the Hardee's app. So when you buy one hand-breaded chicken biscuit, you get another for just $1. Cluckbait! It's time to fall for some cluckbait. Bite into the hand-breaded chicken menu only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Available for limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants, exclusively in the Hardee's app or website by registered My Rewards members. Tax not included. See app or website for additional terms and conditions.
Highland Pharmacy on Rogers Road in Glasgow has been a community favorite since 2012, and there's a reason for that. They consistently offer a wide range of customized services, quality care, and a commitment to you. Over-the-counter COVID tests are available and can be billed to most insurance carriers. You can also receive the COVID vaccine at Highland Pharmacy. Register at highland-pharmacy.com. That's highland-pharmacy.com. Highland Pharmacy, a community favorite since 2012.
Welcome back into WCLU News. Hope you're doing well today. If you're starting out on your commute, looks like those clouds have really passed by. Of course, we had some rain about 5 this morning, a little bit in that 5 o'clock hour, maybe a little bit before then even. But that's cleared out of the way now. Looks like the sun is out there completely, and it's going to stick around. Today, temperatures could feel as high as 106 degrees, so keep that in mind as you're out there today. Maybe keep some extra water nearby, and especially if you're working outdoors, be sure that you are staying hydrated. For those who are not going to be outdoors, maybe you ought to not go outdoors as much as you would be tempted to on a nicer day. It is going to be hot today, maybe a little sticky even. The rest of the week, highs really bouncing between the upper and low 90s, and looks like the next chance of rain might be next Sunday. They're at 40% chance as we head into next week. 24 Kentucky educators have been chosen for Valvoline Teacher Achievement Awards and will compete for the Kentucky Teacher of the Year title. The State Department of Education says the teachers will be honored in September, and the Kentucky Elementary, Middle, and High School Teachers of the Year, they'll be announced. The 2023 Kentucky Teacher of the Year will be named from the group of those 3 finalists. A 15-year-old boy has been charged with murder in the death of a pastor and leader of the United Methodist Church who was fatally shot during a carjacking in Memphis, Tennessee. The Tennessee Western Kentucky Conference of the United Methodist Church says the Reverend Atwara Eason Williams was shot Monday afternoon outside of her home. She was found in her driveway with multiple wounds. Memphis police said Eason Williams was taken to a hospital where she died. The killing shocked the United Methodist Church community in Memphis and church members attending a vigil for Eason Williams there on Monday evening. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee on Tuesday announced that electronics repair company iFixit will establish an East Coast hub in Chattanooga. According to a news release, iFixit is expected to invest $24.2 million and create more than 200 jobs in Hamilton County over the next 5 years. The company is headquartered in St. Louis Obispo, California, but the Chattanooga location will house its distribution and back office operations. It sells repair parts for electronics and gadgets online to consumers and small businesses. It's estimated that more than 8 million people a month rely on iFixit to learn how to repair their products, including 700,000 Tennesseans. And an Atlanta truck driver is charged with vehicular homicide after a Northwest Georgia wreck left 2 adults dead and 3 children injured. Joseph Chisholm remained jailed without bail Sunday in Catoosa County after the Friday wreck. The 47-year-old Chisholm is also charged with driving too fast and running a red light. State troopers say Chisholm was driving an 18-wheeler that hit the side of a minivan at a busy intersection in Ringgold. That's a Georgia suburb of Chattanooga. Neither of the dead adults have been identified. The 3 children there taken to hospitals, and Chisholm was not injured. State troopers arresting him there at the wreck scene. Finally, today, news here in Kentucky. After the pandemic halted lessons at a traditional music school in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, classes returned this summer with a renewed commitment to diversity and inclusion. More from our Nadia Ramlagan.
Artistic director Carla Gover said that making these adjustments and giving audiences and program participants a fuller picture of Appalachian music is very important to Cowan. But these changes are not seamless and don't always come quickly in a community that puts so much emphasis on tradition.
One of the things that we've done is to attempt to not just celebrate and explore further our own cultural and historical roots, but also deliberately try to make space for some difficult conversations.
Efforts this year included a workshop on breaking the silence around LGBTQ plus people in traditional Appalachian music, a faculty member, an immigrant to Kentucky from Ecuador who taught Andean music and instrument making, and a public recognition of all the tunes Cowan teaches from the Appalachian repertoire that have links to the African American community. Nadia Ramlagan reporting.
Thank you, Gover. Adds the focus on diversity and inclusion doesn't supplant the school's original mission to center the living traditions of Kentucky artists and educators. 728, 75 degrees. You've been listening to WCLU Radio. I'm Brennan Crane. Have a great Wednesday.
This is the Kentucky News Network.
The push for legalizing medical marijuana in Kentucky continues as dozens spoke out in favor of the move at a town hall in Frankfort Tuesday night. Governor Andy Beshear's Team Kentucky Medical Cannabis Advisory Committee stopping in Frankfort as part of a statewide tour to get input from Kentuckians on the issue. The committee says they have received at least 2,700 emails in support of legalized medical cannabis since the group was formed. Members say about 90% of town hall participants have been for the measure. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office is searching for a suspect they believe was involved in an alleged attempted kidnapping. Authorities receiving a call Tuesday afternoon about a possible attempted kidnapping on a trail near the Holly Bay campground. Investigators say a 10-year-old girl was walking on the trail when a man grabbed her from behind and tried to get her to go with him. The girl broke away from the man and found safety at the guard station. A description of the man has been released. An anti-Semitic post from a group of Republicans in northern Kentucky is now facing backlash.
On Friday, the Bracken County Republican Party posted on Facebook about the new director of the ATF, Steve Dettelbach. The post calls Dettelbach a Jewish anti-gun activist, going on to say that, quote, the Jewish junta is getting stronger and more aggressive. No surprise, the post was deleted, and party chair Karen Kirkendall wrote that the post was incredibly insensitive and does not represent the values of the Bracken County Republican Party. She's promising an investigation. The state GOP is condemning it as well. The Kentucky Jewish Council has responded, calling it absolutely unacceptable. I'm Jack Crumley.
Kentucky schools are working to fill vacancies before the academic year begins, with many still trying to fill teaching positions, especially in secondary math and science courses. Districts are also required to have school resource officers in place at all schools by August 1st under state law, with many districts struggling to fill that position. And the average per gallon of unleaded gas in Kentucky Tuesday was at $4.15, down 3 cents from Monday. I'm Sean Gallagher.
This is the Kentucky News Network.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and charge.
Brought to you by Peggy Tuck Edwards and Private Caregiver Referral Services. When roles reverse in later years, when child becomes caretaker, when the needs of a parent become most important, it's comforting to know there is help along the way. Sometimes our elders just need a little company and companionship, and it's our duty to see that those needs are met, whether at home, assisted living, or a nursing home facility. Peggy and her network of compassionate caregivers are ready to meet you and your loved one's needs. Call 670-7062.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis, or an injury, you already know the traditional treatments: pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? Hey, it's Henry Royce with great news from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive and nobody wants to go under the knife. It is 2022 and those old ways are out and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life that you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation. 270-974-4500. That's 270-974-4500. QC Kinetics. 270-974-4500.
If you suffer from joint pain from arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments, pain meds and steroids and then surgery, right? Hey, it's James Coates with great news. Now there's a better way. And it's here now from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds are addictive, and nobody Nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022 and the old ways are out and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain, any joint, and give you the quality of life you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation. 270-974-4500. That's 270-974-4500. QC Kinetics, 270-974-4500.
Well, in the WCLU Forecast Center, let's talk about it. Heat advisory today. We have had, 0.08 of an inch of rain now, 0.08 as it sort of squoze through here early this morning. And that's kind of made it steamy. But we have this big, long explanation. So here we go. Today, we're under a heat advisory, sunny and hot. The air temperature is going to be 95. The heat index is going to go to 106. Part of that heat index might be fueled by this fact that the wind is going to blow as high as 22 miles an hour. That's going to be something to experience, I think. Tonight, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy, and a low down to 72. On Thursday, sunshine and 92. Thursday night, clear and 67. Friday, sunny and hot, and a high of 94. Pressure's at 29.87, 95% humidity. Southwest wind still at about 7 miles an hour. I'm going to look at this constant coverage studio radar screen here just to see how things have moved, because we had pretty good little thunderstorm activity going on between Greensburg and Campbellsville, and it was staying together enough that at least the folks who were underneath those clouds were going to get some pretty good downpours, kind of like what we did about 5 o'clock this morning. But that appears to be breaking up a little bit as it makes its way to the northeast. But nonetheless, so a few of us got a few little old raindrops here earlier this morning. I'm looking again. It's still southeast of Greensburg. So let's just be aware that if you're traveling, looks like over around London, Kentucky, right along I-75, they've got some more shower activity over there. Weather brought to you by your friends at Peggy Tuck Edwards Private Caregiver Referral Services at 270-670-7062.
For over 25 years, Window World has provided quality products for homeowners around the country. Every window we sell is custom made for optimal energy efficiency and superior durability. Plus, a vinyl finish means they will never need painting. Just like our windows, entry doors from Window World are made to last, featuring a durable composite frame that will never rot. When it comes time to replace your windows or doors, trust Window World. Call 270-780-9600.
Simply the best for less. Window World.
A death in the family can be a sensitive time for each family member. From the youngest to the oldest, there is no set pattern or way to predict just how they'll react to their grief. During the difficult hours after a loss, a familiar face and a warm handshake from a trusted friend can be a very welcome and calming sight. At Hatcher & Sadler Funeral Home, we're only a phone call away, and we're ready to serve whenever we are needed. Hatcher & Sadler Funeral Home in Glasgow, here when you need us.
Let me get caught up on birthdays here this morning. We've got Edna Emberton celebrating, Kevin Riley with a birthday today. It's Terry Robertson, Bridget Williams, Steve Goodson, Sydney Robertson, Mike London. We have Mike Harris with a birthday today. Charles Boston is 49. Harrison Froggett is 70. Evan Alvey, Teresa London, Carla Allen, Casey Peters. We sounded the 40 gong for Casey last hour. Happy 40th there, Miss Casey. And then we got Ms. Etta Calvert with a big birthday on this Wednesday, July the 20th. Anniversaries, we have Steve and Judy Robertson celebrating today. And we got a whole family of anniversaries here. Kathy and Mike Harris today, their 37th anniversary. Their daughter, Laura Beth, and her husband, Michael Bergen, having their 9th anniversary today, and their son Michael Harris and his wife Charity having their 3rd anniversary today. What about that? It's a family celebration for sure. 651-9149-800-956-1023 and online at WCLUradio.com. We are patting on the back today by special request Casey Peters. She's 40 today. She's good as gold. Let's remind her of that from her friends here at WCLU. WCLU, and a little taste of Texas, where regardless of the celebration, it's made more special when you celebrate the Texas way. Speaking of special, of course, we got the big deal coming up here Saturday night, where we have Mr. T.G. Shepherd and Mr. William Lee Golden and the Goldens coming to the Plaza Theater. We've had the chance this week to talk to several of the folks who are going to be on stage at the Plaza. I had a little conversation here with Chris Golden, the youngest son of William Lee Golden. We're going to have that just in a second, right here on WCLU.
Willie 94.1 and 102.3 has a Willie Cool night coming up for you and a friend with T.G. Shepherd. And William Golden and the Goldens.
Hungry calling now, coming down.
Live at the Plaza Theater, Saturday, July 23rd. The Big Willie is going to make a Willie big bunch of you winners. Register to win online now at our website, radiosoky.com. That's radiosoky.com, now through July 20th. Random drawings coming up. On July 19th, Willie's going to make 10 people winners of balcony seats. On July 20th, Willie's going to make 5 people winners of center seats. And on July 21st, Willie's going to make 2 people winners of second row seats. That's a Willie big bunch of winners. T.G. Shepherd and William Golden and the Goldens live at the Plaza Theater, July 23rd, winning.
I love them everyone. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou.
From the Big Willie. See complete contest rules at radiosoky.com. Click contests.
Good morning, everybody, from WCLU. We're continuing our building up to the big concert Saturday night at the Plaza Theater, where we've got William Lee Golden and the Goldens and T.G. Shepherd coming to the stage at the Plaza Theater. Today, I'm tickled to be talking with Chris Golden of the Goldens. You are one of the boys, isn't that right, Chris?
I'm the baby, Henry.
When I interviewed your dad yesterday, he's proud of his boys, and he's proud of the fact that they have built a career in music. And I'm telling you, I can hear the smile in his voice for him to say, I'm coming up there to Glasgow Saturday night, and I'm bringing a great band, great singers, and I'm bringing my boys, and we're going to put on a show. So he's setting the stage pretty high for you there, Chris.
That's really sweet of him. You know, it's like music. Mm-hmm. It's our family business. You know, there's a lot of men that have sons that follow them into farming or being a mechanic or whatever. It's really just all we ever knew was the road life, making music, not just on stage and entertaining, but in the recording studio as well. We all love being in the recording studio, and we also love to go out and entertain the people, and that's about all we've ever done. It's really our family business, and it kind of goes back to his great-grandfather, who was a fiddle-playing holiness preacher and had his own radio show down in Bruton, Alabama. That's where my dad got his start with his grandfather and his sister. Then he got older and moved us all to Tennessee. And when it come to having all these instruments around the house, we just picked them up like, you know, that was what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, well, you figured out that you had a gift, a blessing of musical talent, and you just didn't sit around and wait for something to happen. You jumped up and went to work, and you were involved in a number of bands on your way up.
You know, it all kind of started when I was, you know, my brother Rusty's going to be with us up there. Rusty was playing drums with the Rambos when he was 12, 13 years old. And at the time, the Rambos were one of the top Southern gospel groups in the country, man. The Singing Rambos, Dottie Rambo.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just a kid. But I just basically was trying to be like Rusty. So he would play the drums, and then I thought, well, man, this looks like something I want to do. I can remember one night we were fighting over the sticks, and Dad took me upstairs and showed me a few chords on the guitar and said, man, if y'all will learn how to play, if you'll learn how to play a different instrument, y'all can play together. And that's kind of changed one of the trajectories of my life, because I started playing another instrument, although I continued playing drums. But my first professional gig, to get back to your question, I went out on the road at 15 years old with a Southern gospel group and toured that circuit. I got out of high school, and I joined up with Rusty in the boys band. We had an album out on Electra Asylum Records. I joined a group called Cedar Creek from Canada for a little while, and then we started recording our own music and our own songs. Landed a deal on Capitol Records, CBS Records. We released 2 albums on those different labels as the Goldens, and did a lot of television and videos and stuff like that, and played a lot of fairs and festivals. And during that time, it's when Dad found himself off the road with the Oak Ridge Boys. Well, that would lasted 9 years, and you know, it was basically a 9-year vacation that we never got to take. You know, because we had so much fun. We were out there with a band of brothers and guys that we grew up with, playing music together with, and friends that we had known long enough that they felt like family. And I'm still out playing and singing, doing solo shows as Chris Golden. I'm mainly playing gospel music these days.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, like, for this Saturday night, bring the whole family. We are.
Sure, that's right. Yeah, and you know, you have got to be proud of these 3 albums that you all as a family cranked out during the pandemic too. That shows a lot of skill for sure.
Yes, sir. We, you know, we've got about 10 more albums that we want to go do. So we're out there promoting these 3 albums. What's really exciting for me is my children are going to be with me Saturday night. They're going to be, you know, my daughter Elizabeth plays fiddle.
Yeah.
She's got family. Her mama's people are all from around that area up there in Cave City, Glasgow, and Horse Cave.
William Lee gets so excited when he talks about his grandkid. Is this the granddaughter that has had a career at Disney?
It is, and she's, you know, during the pandemic, she got sent back home. She's friends with all those princesses. That's how we have to. That's how we have to say it.
William Lee still refers to her as a princess. That's what a good granddaddy would do.
Yeah, well, she is that indeed, man, and she does that actually in real life. She's a real life princess.
Gotcha.
And then my son Elijah, he's home for the summer. He's going to Brown University in Rhode Island, but he's home for the summer, and he's going to join us on these shows that we're doing here this summer. So we're glad to have Elijah with us, and he's going to be singing. And I'll tell you, Henry, these kids, they passed me a long time ago. I just thought I was, you know, they got so much talent, man. And then it kind of come easy for them, too, I guess, because we were always playing music. We're bringing an all-star band with us. It's not just the family. We got Steve Henson on steel and slide guitar, 20 years with Randy Travis. He was at the Hall of Fame this couple of days ago doing a special in-house concert. We got Eugene Moles, legendary guitar player from Bakersfield. He played with the Buckaroos and Merle Haggard Strangers. He was the youngest player ever on, you know, like the Hee Haw show, which that's where I made my singing debut too. Anyway, we've known these guys for a long time. Larry Morris on bass guitar. You've seen him with Marty Stewart and T. Graham Brown. He's with the Goldens now, and Rick McClure on drums. He spent a lot of years with Jerry Reed, Lori Morgan, and playing on the Opry just about every Saturday night. So, and we look forward to seeing you there, Henry.
I'll be there. Why don't we just listen to a little bit of music from the Goldens album? This is one that they really get a lot of requests for. And this is Chris and Rusty and Daddy William Lee and others. It's called Come and Dine.
Jesus has a table spread where the saints of God are fed. He invites his chosen people to come and dine. With his manna he doth feed and supplies our every need. Oh, it's sweet to sup with Jesus all the time. Come and dine, the Master's calling, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. Soon the Lamb will take his bride to be ever at his side. All the hosts of heaven will assemble be. Oh, 'twill be a glorious sight. All the saints in spotless white, and with Jesus they will feast eternally. Come and dine, the master's calling, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. Come and dine, the master's calling, come and dine. Come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. All the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calling now, come and dine.
There they are, coming to the Plaza Theater on Saturday night with T.G. Shepherd. It's the Goldens. That's from their newest album. It's called Come and Dine. Tickets are available right now at plaza.org, and it's going to be a show to enjoy for you. And just like what Chris said, hey, you bring the whole family because we're bringing all of our whole family. It'll make for a nice night. So anyway, see if you can't get that on, get it going.
When you look around Glasgow and Barron County, you see that South Central Bank's roots run deep. Having served generations of families and supported some of the most significant business growth in the region, we are proud to be a part of this community. For 50 years, our customers have received superior service from South Central Bank, and we remain committed to that. We continue to build relationships that are making an impact on the community we call home. South Central Bank, small enough to know you, big enough to help. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you or a loved one have been seriously injured in a wreck, it feels like you're losing control.
Bills are piling up. Your injuries may be preventing you from working. Don't leave your future in the hands of the insurance company.
They'll take advantage of you.
Call Hughes & Coleman today. We've been fighting to get our clients the most money possible for over 35 years.
Control starts with a call. Hughes & Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Principal office in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Services may be performed by others.
Everyone has the right to control their own future.
This is not the case if you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a big truck wreck. The insurance company will take advantage of you.
We've recovered over $1 billion for our clients.
We're passionate about getting big dollar results for our clients.
Control starts with a call. Hughes & Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Principal office in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Services may be performed by others. Over $1 billion recovered for our clients in Kentucky and Tennessee.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Good Morning Live. Don't forget, coming up today at 9 o'clock, it's the Brawa Fun Day Camp, 9 till noon at 175 Trojan Trail. Only 10 spots available. Hurry up and give them a call at 270-651-7297 and see if there's one open for you. Also, the Old Timers Reunion's Fish Fries this Saturday at Twyman. I'm sorry, it's not. Is that? Yeah, that's right. It is this Saturday. This Saturday is the 23rd at Twyman Park off of Bunch Avenue. Begins at 11 o'clock until they run out, and I can tell you from experience that won't last long because they do make great fish and they sell a lot of it. The menu consists of fish plates, fish fries, and slaw, and a drink, and also fish sandwich plates, $12, and sandwiches, $7. Come out and join them, and they'll deliver for a minimum order of 12. So give them a call at 308-1017 and help them out there with the Old Timers Fish Fry.
One thing's for sure, seasons do change. We might not be able to predict the date of the next cold snap, but at Southern States, in business since 1923, we've seen some patterns. We're ready to fill your tanks and make sure you won't be chilled out by the seasonal changes. Southern States is ready to help you with seed and fertilizer for your pastures and your home lawns. We just love helping our customers prepare for the next season. We're Southern States, 300 Sampson Street in Glasgow.
Good morning, friends. Jesus said that he had been given all authority in heaven and on earth. When one has all power and all authority, then that one can be said to be almighty. Jesus himself said at Revelation 1:7-8 that he is the Lord God, the Almighty. This being true, it then should make each of us more aware of the responsibility we have to serve him. One day Jesus will return from heaven and be seen by every eye as he rides on the clouds with the angels of heaven. On that day, every soul will take a knee, not in protest, but in submission to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. On that day, every tongue will confess that Jesus is indeed the Almighty God. Those who have not submitted to him during this earthly life will find themselves facing the terrible wrath of an angry God due to their rejection of his loving mercy, extended in and through the person of Jesus of Nazareth. Neither the government, nor science, nor education, nor the military, nor technology can save man. Only the Almighty God, Jesus the Christ, can save man from destruction in that day. Remember, he is Almighty. This is Danny Wyatt of the Refuge Church of Christ.
From the north, south, east, west, NEWS, here's the latest news.
Tidbit news around the world and up the street. Just a couple of things here to pass along to you here, Brendan. It's been a busy day around here, and but we can always squeeze out a second or two for some tidbit news.
That's right.
Actually, I got a tidbit story today about why did the chicken cross the road? And
I've never been able to answer that question.
Well, here's a case out of Hinesburg, Vermont. There's a simple answer to the question why a Vermont chicken crossed 13 miles of road. This chicken got caught up in the undercarriage of its family's pickup truck.
Oh, no.
I'm looking. Wait a minute. You know that we've got Shannon here filling in for James today. She's looking over here like she might have a comment on the chicken. You want to comment on the chicken? She doesn't. She's just thinking about, okay, I was giving her the opportunity if she wanted to say something about the chicken. Here's the deal. Somebody spotted the chicken walking on the street of a nearby town and called authorities after being unable to get help anywhere. The woman took the bird home to care for it. She also started digging around on the internet. Eventually, there was a Facebook post leading to finding the owners who were fretting about losing the hen. The bird and her family have been reunited. So why did the chicken cross the road? Well, they got hung up underneath a truck and went 13 miles down the road.
That's going to be my new response.
That's
got hung
right.
up under the truck.
That's right. Chicken hung up in the undercarriage, you know.
That's
chicken,
not a picture we'd want to see.
No, went for a ride for sure. Also, I've got this story. You know, we on Facebook, we talk about Facebook on here, and my only big problem with Facebook is the lack of a requirement to be truthful when you use Facebook, and this is going to cost them. Amazon has taken legal action against Facebook, saying that they've been sending fake reviews of products on its site. The suit says there are more than 10,000 Facebook groups that exist in order to find those willing to post incentivized and misleading reviews on its stores in the U.S., the UK, Germany, France, Spain, and Japan. Amazon has sued people before who said it did bogus write-ups on products, but lawmakers and regulators have also griped that the online retail giant hasn't done enough to fix the problem. So they've got Facebook now is incentivizing people to write ugly stuff about Amazon.
I mean, I understand. I don't like that people spread this information.
Yeah.
Obviously, as someone who tries to set the record straight.
Yeah.
But you know, people have been doing it for years now. They just do it on the internet.
Yeah, that's
instead
right.
of just telling their neighbor
Right.
about it.
That's right. Said tell your neighbor. Now, but you see, now they're going to be some sort of recourse. Wait a minute. You are allowing 10,000 Facebook groups to write ugly things about Amazon. We'll figure out how that happens, okay?
Right.
We'll watch and see how it shakes out. So anyway, I told you I didn't have much, much time, but I've got that for tidbit news today, Brennan, okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Leg pain?
If so, it's time to take back your life. Bluegrass Vein Clinic treats venous insufficiency with a quick in-office procedure. Symptoms include restlessness, cramping, aching, tenderness, and swelling in the legs. If left untreated, unsightly veins or open leg sores can develop. Treatment's covered by most insurance, even Medicare. So don't wait. Call today. Accepting appointments for free screenings every Thursday. Bluegrass Vein Clinic. It's time to take back your life.
Learn more at bluegrassvein.com. Remember that summer when the air conditioning wasn't working in your vehicle? You don't want to go through that again. Get to Quality Auto Repairs in Glasgow now for an AC tune-up, starting at just $120. Quality Auto Repairs also now sells new tires, available next day on most orders. Plus, they have a special on alignments as low as $69.95. The name says it all. Quality Auto Repairs on Reynolds Road in Glasgow. Call 678-4200. 678-4200.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas and is a silent killer. Prevent poisoning by installing a CO monitor in your home. If the alarm sounds, leave immediately and call 911. Learn more at barrenriverhealth.org.
Coming up, the live and local 8 o'clock morning edition on WCLU, and on Big Willie, it's Shannon Presley filling in for James today. So Shannon's going to be driving the train for all the folks who are calling in on the Big Willie Trader coming up, and we appreciate you all joining us today here.
This is your home for Glasgow's best variety. WCLU Glasgow. W276DO Glasgow. WCLU.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Blistering heat blankets the country again today. Shelley Monagold of Wichita lives on a fixed income and can't afford to have her broken air conditioner repaired.
I don't have much to go with, so just have to wait and see what happens.
Meteorologist Craig Allen with our affiliate WCBS says the heat is spreading east and up into New England.
This is expected to be a prolonged heat wave for the Northeast, which could last anywhere from 5 to as much as 7 or 8 days.
They're getting a break overseas. Correspondent Vicky Barker is in London.
Britain's breathing a sigh of relief. Thunderstorms last night broke the record heat wave here, sending the mercury down from the record-shattering 104 to the more bearable 80s. But the blistering heat wave continues to have much of Western Europe in its grip.
Spain's prime minister just reporting more than 500 people have died from the heat there. President Biden is focusing on climate change today. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe from the White House.
He's flying up to Massachusetts to tout the offshore wind industry. Very popular there in New England as they're building windmills off the coast of Massachusetts. And he's also going to talk about boosting federal aid for communities trying to fight the heat.
Record numbers of mass shootings in America make it a challenging time for the man who's just taken over at the ATF. Steve Dettelbach tells CBS's Nora O'Donnell he plans to take on gun violence.
To me, what we have to do is focus on addressing the problem. It's time to push the "we got to get to work" button, not the panic button.
The House Judiciary Committee expected to consider a bill today that would ban assault weapons. Investigators in Pennsylvania believe they've solved a 46-year-old murder mystery with a used coffee cup. CBS's Jim Krasula has the details.
68-year-old Davidson Oakley, married with 4 children, has been arrested in connection with the December 1975 stabbing death of a 19-year-old woman in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. County District Attorney Heather Adams.
This case was solved with the use of DNA, and specifically DNA genealogy. And quite honestly, without that, I don't know that we would have ever solved it.
Police tracked down the suspect through DNA he had left behind on a coffee cup at the Philadelphia airport back in February.
Ivana Trump's funeral is today in New York City. Former President Trump tells the New York Post Cindy Adams he's in town for the service for his ex-wife. Their children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, are expected to attend as well. Mrs. Trump was 73 when police say she fell down the stairs at her Manhattan townhouse last week and died from blunt impact injuries. S&P futures are down 3, Dow futures off 25. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
I'll ring you up in a second. Kim, can you see if we have more acid wash?
Desmona's thrift store is the spot for killer vintage finds.
Oh, that looks fabulous on you. Hey, can you do the register?
But her sales clerk situation feels pretty threadbare.
Oh, yeah, let me clear out that fitting room.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Emmett Till's home in the Midwest is getting a landmark grant.
Black teenager Emmett Till left his mother's house on Chicago's South Side in 1955 to visit relatives in Mississippi, where he was abducted, beaten, and drowned for reportedly whistling at a white woman. His death helped galvanize the civil rights movement. A cultural preservation organization says the house will receive a share of $3 million in grants being distributed to 33 sites and organizations nationwide that are important pieces of African American history. A portion of the money received for the Till house will go toward renovating the second floor to make it what it looked like when the Tills lived there. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News, Chicago.
Time to chomp into a wiener and give thanks. Hot dog! It's National Hot Dog Day, and while Elvis isn't around to celebrate, you can take advantage of all the freebies out there. Hot dogs got their name during the 19th century when German immigrants started making their food faves. Right here. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
This is your captain speaking. You better buckle your seatbelts for this one. I noticed my passport was due to expire, so I went to Staples. I got a passport photo in 10 minutes, so we're good to go.
Now at Staples, get 20% off travel products when you purchase a passport photo. Get travel ready at Staples, your one-stop travel prep destination.
Hey, let me tell you about another time that Staples saved my caboose. That all started back.
N731, in-store only. Excludes Instacart orders, certain products, services, and technology. See staplesconnect.com/services/travel for details.
If you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-764-9219. That's 800-764-9219.
You know you can depend on WCLU for local news on the air, online, on demand at WCLUradio.com.